Luckily, we got this done before. We need to get in and do the rest of Well, that's here. Okay. What third party? I think you do. I think this is the new way of saying the old.
On this side, yeah. Okay.
Sure. Okay. Being introduced to me as separate. Hi, I'm Rosa Manzo. Nice to meet you. I'm from Eric.
She was you're 31, your husband was your kid.
She's like, considering you're 35 and you're on the phone with me. That was me last week. I was
I'm deciding I'm here going to start February 1st. January still got some 23 shit going on. That's fine. My kids say stay calm.
here, I told my boy, we want to get a car, so now but that could I just want to see if it's like I already had cars, but not the. I'm not thinking. Yeah. Well, where's the car? But I was happy when yes.
I believe so. Oh, good, I'm off screen.
No.
Just following. So everybody.
With my consultant, I want it sent early because it takes days for things to get.
And I sent the ballot already.
Yep.
Yeah. But everybody has not done their endorsements.
Yeah.
That's nothing. That's
You're not gonna do all
No,
Did you get into a car?
I don't expect them to be. I said no, let's get it.
It was good.
Sure.
That was enough.
Well, it was a lot of.
I want to show you something.
So there's our.
I presume you've counted the past.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You probably counted the past. Oh, no.
I mean, I work like this. But I usually work.
I was non-voluntary.
Meeting and that night, getting phone calls. And then I did, well, I still have that thing sitting in the refrigerator. Hi, Ben, how are you?
How are you?
I know Chris is out of the city. She is in here. And we'll have more because Candace is driving home.
Right now.
Right, so great. Once they both get here, you don't have to see the
Just one last page. Would you like to see you?
Right, and that's Teresa. Not like you guys do this.
Good.
Great.
Yes.
I didn't get my chili.
But,
I got this instead.
do we have a report of? Which one? And this one.
Hey, Miss Betty, how you doing?
You know what? I got an idea.
Miss Betty?
Y'all ready for this one? I don't know the theme of purchasing food, but maybe every other month we go to a different country and try different cultural food.
The thing might become that we have to do an event to upgrade our food.
Yeah, you talk to Anna.
Well, no, that's just it seems certain. There was something here.
Oh,
T-shirt size.
T-shirt size?
Yeah, I'm talking about.
Oh, the pool.
Oh, you right,
Well,
Sarah.
that's okay, but every month is a month of something.
I don't think anyone wants to say.
You have like this one, you consider it like, so.
This is Black
History.
That's right, there you go.
So we have
Perfect. No, it's right on
Sorry.
Just
So I think it is.
nice scratch out.
Yes, I see your
Your shirt size.
Zoom is one.
I don't know if that's easier to read, but
No, it's not.
probably not. I know, Teresa told me to. I should have told you.
Yeah,
And their meetings all
yeah.
Dear, getting much.
You don't have to hide. We haven't gone live yet.
We're not gonna.
Show. You don't have to hide, we haven't gone live yet.
I just don't like to sit.
We have to see before now, we can start. 1, 2, 3.
So I was thinking.
Did it make you?
And I go through the archive and see the national web.
It's already 10
Right.
So you want to
Yes.
Okay, let's do that. So hi, everybody. Hello. Even though Paula and Candace are not yet here, since we have a quorum, I guess we'll call the meeting to order. And I'm Laura Myers, and I am the vice president. And per a discussion we had at executive a while back, if it turns out that I'm running this meeting for a long time, and any of the items that I'm related to come up, I will have to pass the virtual gavel to someone else, because there was that moment, a couple of meetings, no, not to you. I see, I see the head shaking, but the point is, because I have some presentation items, it was not seen as very easily that I was running the meeting and presenting. So for the moment, I'm just calling the meeting to order, and please, can we have the roll, Sarah?
Yes.
Call the roll.
Jasmine,
Oh, and remind everybody to speak loudly, myself included.
And say your name.
Jasmine, Dolores,
Sure.
Hunter,
Present.
Candace, Laura,
Present.
Joe,
Here.
Michael Soderstrom,
Here.
Edward,
Here.
I'm here, Paula, Grace, here, Dennis, Corinne, here, Teresa,
Here.
Michael Kimbrough,
Yes.
Chris Carlson, Diana, Christopher Weed,
Yes.
Betty,
Here.
Marco?
Here.
Thank you.
Okay, and the next item on the agenda is review and approval of the agenda. I have put that up on the screen and scrolling now. So we have, right after this, public comments and announcements on items not on the agenda. Did this just move for me? It did. Next, government agencies. And that may include people who are not listed on this agenda, but who are representing government agencies. The executive committee report, which would be a president's report, treasurer's report, secretary's report, which is basically the minutes, vice president's report, that would be me, talking about training. We have a brief funding request, discussion again about proposed possible adjustments to the current bylaws. Committee reports, we do have a case tonight. It should be brief, and our applicant's representative will be joining us on Zoom. And as well, a follow-up to a previous letter that we had had approved and sent, but now there's a demolition permit request for 1614 Gramercy. I think Grace is emailing me the report for public safety. If we have 16 people, we can do item C, and other committee reports, if any. And Show King, we're going to do a follow-up to your presentation from last month, any old business, and adjourn. Are there comments, correction? Okay. So, public comments. Let's stop the share. Does anybody have public comment?
Just stand and project your voice.
No, actually, if you're going to be on Zoom, she probably needs to move to the center. And project your voice and say your name.
Hello, everyone. My name is Rose Alonso. I'm the assistant principal at City Language Immersion Charter at 4001 Venice Boulevard, and I'm here to just let you know that we're in the neighborhood. We're trying to attend the Unnc meetings. And in particular, I wanted to talk about a community event that we have coming up on February 24th. It's a Saturday community resource fair. It's free. We'll have arts and crafts. We'll have a school tour of our elementary school, New LA Elementary. And it's going to be at 5753 Obama Boulevard. And we're welcoming everyone in the community. And maybe some of you can even then.
You say you're with CLIC?
Yes.
And what's the association with the school on Obama?
So we just partnered with New LA Charter School. So CLIC is now part of the New Los Angeles organization.
So that's the funnel from CLIC to New LA.
Yes, so we have two elementary schools. One is a dual language elementary school and the other one is single language. And from New LA from New LA Elementary or CLIC, students often matriculate into New Los Angeles Middle School. So it does create a pathway to middle school. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Are there any, please note that Jasmine has entered. Are there any other public comments on any item not on the agenda?
I just have a question. How many students are there?
We're at about 360 students.
And you said it's immersion?
Yes, dual language immersion in Spanish. So we follow the 90-10 model, which means that in kindergarten, students receive 90% of the instruction in Spanish, 10% in English, and then the percentage of English increases. And by 5th grade, they're receiving instruction 50% of the day in English and 50% of the day in Spanish.
I just want to say something. My two kids went to CLIC.
Can you say your name?
Oh, my name is Eric Aguirre, and I'm with Councilwoman Heather Lutz's office.
Thank you.
I appreciate CLIC. My two kids went to CLIC, and both of them now are fluent in Spanish to a large part of the CLIC education. I was doing Raul Woods. Yeah.
Aria, right?
Aria, yeah, Aria and Edie.
And he is, yes, sir.
Yeah, My corazón, that's hard.
Yes, Sho, you had your hand up.
I guess his answer, mine, I'm Sho, hope for everybody. When he said his kids learned, I was wondering if any non-Spanish speakers were learning Spanish and as well as the Spanish speakers learning English.
Yes.
Both ways.
Yeah, so it's a dual immersion model. Students are learning English and Spanish, so we definitely get monolingual English speakers as well as Spanish speakers.
And what is it, K through 5 or?
K-5.
So, thank you, everybody. I want to remind, if you want to do a presentation that's on our agenda, you can let Paula know, and then we can legally go through these questions and answers. Under general public comments, we're supposed to just listen and not ask questions, and broadly speak.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, no, this is fine, but I'm just.
Yeah, thank you, that's really good to know.
This is like the transfer. Well, we can see. Okay. Are there any other general public comments? Seeing no hands raised, moving on to government agencies' reports and comments, Council District 10 report. That'd be Eric.
That will be me. Hello, everybody. Once again, my name is Eric Aguirre with Councilwoman Heather Hutt's office. A couple of things. One, I would like to remind people to continue to use 311. We just met with the Bureau of Sanitation last week, and basically what happened is we've been seeing a decrease in the 311 usage. So if you could, one, continue to use 311. If for some reason, if it's not picked up within 48 hours, please shoot me a message via text or email and say, hey, Eric, this bulky item is still there. Can you please ping sanitation to remind them to come pick it up? When you also send that message, please send me the SR number. And SR stands for service request. And it's typically that number that is generated after you report 311. Second, there has been increase in some coyotes in the neighborhood. Yesterday, we had a presentation with Los Angeles County office, and Ms. Liz came on and presented about the safety tips and the safety measures of what you can do as residents in order to protect yourself and protect the small animals that may be around your house. If you would like to see that presentation, I can email it. I'll email it to the group. And then if you want to go from there, distribute it to everybody else. That'll be greatly appreciated. Another is, please don't forget about our rapid response as well. So if there are also small items that need to be picked up, say, hey, Eric, there's a toilet over here on 38th and Montclair or Arlington and Adams, something that we could throw in the back of a pickup truck, please let us know and we'll come by and do that as well. Another update is, did everybody get the flyer for the Love Hut? It is basically women's appreciation of acknowledgement. So it is a women's only event. Men, back in the day when you went to the club and you just hung out in that parking lot and see all the women come out after you, you could do that if you did. But it is. There was a term for that we need to show. Yeah, not Chippendales. No, not Chippendales. Right, we're not gonna repeat that term, but you know what I'm talking about. So it is women's only. There will be yoga, lunch, of course. You basically will have an opportunity to get pampered and truly appreciated during the month of Valentine's Day. And that is 2/17. From 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. Registration link is open, so I'll send that out as well. Second, is there any concerns or anything you may have for me?
I've got people mentioning streetlights are out and for which you're submitting 311 requests that are not getting responded to. Do you want that forwarded to you as well?
Please. Yes, ma'am.
my street or 29th Street has a coyote that's living in somebody's house, even in my yard.
That's good to know. I'm gonna send you a presentation, but in order to scare the coyote away, whatever items you may have around the house, please put them in the house. If you have small animals, put them in the house. Do not leave any food around your house that the coyotes may be attracted to. One of the items that she spoke on highly is it's really illegal to try to go remove the coyote. You could be prosecuted for that. It sounds like they are protected, not endangered species, but they do have certain protections that we as civilians cannot enforce upon a coyote. It would be something as if animal cruelty if we were to engage with that coyote. The best bet is if you see the coyote, blow the whistle. If you don't have a whistle, go in the house, get a pot pan, bang it. There are some other devices that can help deter coyotes from approaching onto your lawn, and then you'll see that in the presentation as well. Yes, sir.
We have a problem on the street when they
20th and what?
20 between Cimarron
23, 20 Cimarron?
between Cimarron and Gramercy. And they haven't been clean the street. Well, they'll clean, everybody there move their cars, and then they're gonna clean the street. But if anybody out there, they're giving out tickets, and the streets don't get clean.
Okay, so that sounds like, to me, there's a disconnect. So basically what happened is on street cleaning days, there'll be a partnership between LADOT and Bureau of Street Services. Typically, LADOT will come first to make sure all the streets are clear. And if the streets are not clear, then of course DOT will cite that vehicle. So what you may be seeing is, it may be scheduled from Bureau of Street Services, and they may not be telling LADOT that we coming today, but LADOT will still show up and cite because that street is technically supposed to be cleared in order for Bureau of Street Services to do their job.
Are we doing it like every other month, every other week?
No, street services is supposed to be every week. Yes.
So that's what I'm saying, they're not doing it every week. They're forcing everybody to move, and it's like they're coming out maybe every other week.
Okay. Now,
And you can challenge that. That happened to me a couple of years ago on my street. You would challenge the
It's just the man.
I know.
actually,
A gentle reminder, if you speak, can you identify yourself and speak? Not just speaker, but asking questions.
what your favor is, I know you said between Cimarron and Gramercy. Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Question, if you can clarify the information for the ladies only pamper day?
Mhm.
And then also, can you remind everyone, especially those who are in the room and on Zoom, what 311 is and what we should be calling?
Okay, so I'll address the Love Hut first. Love Hut is on 217 from 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. And I'll send out the link for registration.
What location?
It will be at the Crenshaw Ball in Hillsborough.
Where at? Okay.
Oh, I'm not even sure if I'm supposed
Crenshaw
to
Ball,
disclose this.
what?
The mall.
And the mall.
When you walk in, you'll see it. You know what? It's at the Macy's.
That'll work.
Yeah. It's at the Macy's.
Well, we have to register first.
Yeah, register first, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the 311.
311 is used to report city services. So it could be lights, it could be bulky items, it could be abandoned vehicles, it could be unhoused, it could be graffiti.
It's my LA
My LA,
311.
I would suggest everybody to download the app. That would be the best recommendation because it is geo-friendly, which basically means you take a picture, and once you take that picture, wherever it is you're at, that address will populate. if your location services are on your phone. You know, sometimes the conspiracy theory, I don't know what the government following.
That's from potholes or street lights being out, garbage being left on the street, you know.
Yep.
Okay.
I have a
Hunter,
comment, this is Hunter, just to clarify, I have the 311 app, love it, use it all the time. If I'm walking my dogs and I see like gang graffiti or.
Oh, look at that.
I'll just put it in. Super easy, thank you, I appreciate it.
Sorry.
Yeah, I agree, it is,
Yeah.
I put in for game tagging, and I get that service request, and then I send it to, Eric or Danielle, depending on what purpose it's.
Send it to someone too, and just.
Yeah, I just, for the service request.
I just used it today for a tree felling. So I used it, tree down was the option, so it's great. I
Yeah,
recommend
and there are plenty of options, show, that you can select on
Yeah.
there.
And they'll even list, is it a dresser, is it a mattress, like, whatever it is that needs to be picked up, they'll have description options to it, because that allows the city services to come out and use the proper tools that are needed to pick it up. Yeah, and if it's a one-man or two-man job, one person or two person,
You said this was used for the unhoused as well?
that can be used for the unhoused.
Got any camping starting in the neighborhood?
Where is it?
On the corner of St. Andrews, Jefferson, on the side of that auto repair place. They used to just go down and grill hamburgers and just hang out and drink. Now they got tents.
Auto,
Yes,
oh, now they're.
yeah.
No, it's like, listen.
okay. Are there any other questions? Paula's about to take over when, if she's ready.
Did you talk about the space?
The Cape Seals, are many of you on Jefferson Boulevard? Jefferson, Edge Hill, Montclair. Well, basically, if you're driving around and you see, go ahead.
Ladies and gentlemen, Heather Hutt. Councilwoman Heather Hutt.
That's right.
Yes.
I'm Councilwoman Heather Hutt from the 10th District. And leaving another meeting, I was texting Eric, are you still there? And then he didn't answer me.
He was presenting.
Right, okay. So, a couple of things. Eric talked about 311 and how to utilize them. You know, recently we had a big report about how to identify encampments. And in that, the definition of encampment is one, not many, just one. So keep that in mind when you're making your report. So don't wait for 3 or 4, 1 is considered an encampment. And make your call at that time, your 311. Try to screenshot your, you know how they give you like a confirmation number? And keep that, so that if you don't see any movement, you can reach to our office and send us a copy of your report, because it'll be dated, and then we can also find it in the system, and then be able to move a little bit faster on that part. Yes?
What is the time before you consider this camp?
Okay.
Okay,
Honestly, the goal is to put people in housing as quickly as possible. So we don't need to wait and see if they're hanging out, you know, they put their wares down in there. And so our challenge soon will be, of course, inventory, like but we're still working hard to build relationships with spaces. But we need to know. And you don't need to worry that, oh, I called for food. It's not, you're not calling the police on them, right? So we're not criminalizing 311. We're looking at folks that are in a crisis and we need to help. So I don't want you to feel like you're telling them, because that's not what's happening. And many people might feel that, how do you feel?
I'm feeling okay, thank you.
All right.
This is Laura for our transcript. What about RVs? because the RV encampments on Washington Boulevard are becoming a real problem for our businesses, for people walking by, and presumably for the people in those non-operating.
So RVs are more complicated,
Yeah.
and I'll share why. I'm taking.
Oh, yeah.
So RVs are more complicated because those people don't feel like they're without housing, right? And so, having a conversation about how we can do services, how we can help with locations, they're a little more difficult. They also, many of them, you guys heard of landlords?
Yeah.
No. Okay, landlords are, many of these dilapidated, homes have come out of a salvage space somewhere, not necessarily in Los Angeles, but maybe somewhere else in another part of the county or wherever. And so they go buy the salvage ones for $500 or, $1,000. And then they rent them to these people for $1,200, $2,000, depending on the size of the family. And many times you see a motorhome, and then in front of it, you see a car.
Yeah.
Or behind their car. These are our working poor. They were in a situation where they could no longer pay their rent. They had to go somewhere, or they got foreclosed on. Once you're in that situation, nobody's gonna rent to you because your credit is in a place where they're not going to, or you don't have, some predatory places take first, last security, so they need $10,000 before you can move into their anything, they can't afford that. So it's a word of mouth underground, hey, you call this guy, then he'll be able to put you in a motorhome. And so then they do that and they park somewhere, and then remember through COVID, we had relaxed parking enforcement, and so they were all these spaces. They need a different kind of help because they're in they have several issues. They don't have anywhere to live. They're paying this predator, right? Which means they're not able to save something else. This is a mess. But we're understanding how complex it is, and we're working to help them. And even I don't know if you mentioned this, but we have rapid response.
Yeah.
So our rapid response team carries trash bags, and they go to them and say, hey, you got anything you want to get rid of? Because we know that they don't have the right disposal of the things that they have. And so it's really a sad situation, but we're working on it. So you can share those complicated cases as well. And we'll do the best we can, not just in the district, but as a city, to try and change what that part looks like. And then I brought that up because I really wanted to talk about the streets that in November, street services said, oh, these streets haven't been done 10, 12 years. And they got a contractor and came and pulled up the, what did you pull up?
The gravel.
Yeah.
The asphalt.
And then the weather changed, and it dipped terribly, and then it went back up and dipped. So anyway, in the 10th district, we have about 35 streets that are just on gravel and don't have the seal. So what we are doing is knocking on doors, telling people, apologizing, that's what I'm doing. Because they've been too long without the fix. But also explaining it has to be 65 degrees over a period of days in order for the seal to set. So we had like a really good weekend last weekend, right? But they're not working. And so, then we get back to Monday and the temperature's dipped. Same thing with potholes. I hate them, I lost lots of tires on potholes. I'm not a bad driver, but, pothole. So a pothole, like we probably have a ton of enemies today, they have to be completely dry. No water in them before we can put them on. So when you know that they're in your neighborhood or in your driving path, just be super careful because it's gonna have to be again 65 and completely dry. So those are just a couple of you know, everyday things you wouldn't necessarily know. I've been driving for years. And I didn't know that those are the important things that we're wondering why the city's not taking care of us. Yes. I mean, but let's say we got potholes today, it's dry right now, it's not gonna be dry later, so like, unfortunately, you go behind yourself.
It has to cure for 6 hours. So you could vacuum.
Yeah.
This is Eric again with Councilwoman Heather. So it is a 6-hour process. It's not just, you know, we could go over there and fill it and walk away and it's be done. No, it's a really careful process because what happens is if it doesn't cure properly, then guess what? You're gonna have that pop up again, it's gonna come back up. Right.
All right.
Well, we have to learn, right? Because no, but we have to learn. And like, how long you been driving here? A long time, right? Nobody told you. Yeah, who told you? Nobody. So, I'm telling you. Yes, you had a question?
Yes, with regard to the encampment, Mr. Showking, with regards to the encampment, for those people who are like me, who are humanitarian, who wish to assist in ways that may be unreasonable. For example, one time I brought some blankets to some folks who were at one of the local parks, and within hours, they were whisked off and precious little blankets that I.
Who whisked them up?
I don't know, I just know that it was police there and all their stuff were being taken, and the lady still walks around in the area, but I just was wondering, like, if,
How long ago was it?
about a year ago.
Girl, I wasn't be here a year ago. That's not happening.
So it's not.
And if it is happening, but if she's in was she by school?
No, this park, in the parks, like walking
But
around.
a park is a different location too.
I've seen her in many parks in the area.
So we have sensitive locations like schools, parks, churches that they should not be in.
Okay.
And so if they were in a space like that and there was a complaint like to whoever from the park people to the police, then they can ask her.
Now, where are the?
They can have heard of it.
In District Ten,
No,
where
we
they
don't
can't.
have safe parking in District 10.
There's no.
We don't hardly have every day.
I'm sorry, say that again?
I said, we don't have safe parking in District 10, and I said, we don't hardly have everyday parking.
No, I mean for the, those who are in encampment, so to speak, where they would go with regard to not being in those locations. There's someone who would direct them to go where they can go.
Well, you can call our office, because there's not like a hotline. Is that what you're thinking? Our hotline thing is 311 where you make the report. Otherwise, you would have to find an agency. So we have people concerned that's not far from here, or topics, those are the 2 agencies that work in our area, plus lots.
Okay.
Does the Hope team still go out? There's a Hope?
Yeah.
I just wasn't sure whether the record would be.
Okay.
Like, there's like a street where, you can park your RVs or there's.
No.
No designation.
Yeah, sorry, so we don't have.
Teresa, then we need to
Oh.
keep it moving.
No, that's okay, thank you.
No,
Okay, all right. I already mentioned this to Eric, and Laura brought it up about the RVs, starting to show up on Washington and Sixth. And the owner of Print Depot has already reached out to the council district, to kind of concern about that. But I'm concerned because I know Tracy Park just set aside some blocks to restrict RV parking or things over 22 feet. So my concern is that those people may start moving to our community. So what are we gonna do to prevent them?
That is that's complicated as well. Because that happens in all the districts when you start putting up those prohibited parking of X amount of size or weight. That's why we have to try and get more inventory so we can move people into shelter housing, like real housing. But I know it's a problem. We're working on it, all of it. This is a great team of council members. We don't agree on a lot of things, but one of the things we agree on is that we have to take care of the people. And so we're trying to figure out as many ways as we can. And our mayor is, this is her priority, so we're working really hard to give her the resources she needs. She was working hard federally to bring in the resources that we need. So it's a process, but we're working on it. And I don't know if you know the West Boulevard, the overpass over the. We've had some success moving folks out over there, and we're gonna do no overnight parking in that space. We could probably do no overnight parking and some things, but then, here's what I don't, push them off of Big Street onto the neighborhood street. Right, and then you don't wanna put those restrictions on the neighborhood street, because I don't think, so, it's very complicated. If anybody got ideas, I'll take ideas, back to the whole, council and see how we can do something better. One of the things I can mention, is it almost, am I in the way?
No.
Okay.
Trash. But we do,
I mean, no, Heather, no, but yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna say bye then. I just wanted to drive through.
Thank you so much. All right. And we have, okay.
I just want everybody to know that the city and the county are working on the urban forestry management plan. That's right, February the 10th. I am Teresa Mason. Oh, thank you. I'm Teresa Mason at, is our team still up, Laura?
Okay, I'm trying to do this.
What happened?
I don't know.
We're up. I believe we're up.
The city of Los Angeles and the county are working on a long-term urban forestry management plan.
So you have to take a pause and look to this stuff.
Oh, okay. Laura, is it out?
Okay, I am trying to.
She just wanted to bring up the graph.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So this is a 5-year plan that will help determine the city's investment in the urban forest. If you have an opinion, if you care about the forest, if you want the city to do more, or you want to see more trees, or you have specific trees, I really would like for everybody to come out February the 10th. It's at 9th and West Adams. We're gonna have refreshments and a little giveaway. It's something we're doing, I have an organization, the South LA Tree Coalition, and we're doing it with KYCC, the Korean Youth Community Center. We have a presentation, we're gonna have some stations, and we just wanna get a lot of feedback. There's also a questionnaire, about 1,400 people have already completed it, so if you guys have time to please go and complete the questionnaire, it takes a few minutes. That link was also sent out in the newsletter. So if we could have South LA look like Hancock Park or like Brentwood, I think that would be great, but we need to let the city know that that's what we expect in our community.
Thank you. Moving on to, let me just repeat. February the 10th, did you say the time?
10 to noon.
10, 8 to noon. And you said 9th Avenue and Adams?
Yes, at St. Paul's Lutheran.
That's my old church.
Oh, well, I expect to see you there, Paula.
Wow, okay, wonderful. Someone had a question? What were you saying, Laura? Okay.
I was saying Alfonso's next.
Oh, Alfonso. Hi.
How you guys doing? So again, my name's Alfonso. I'm with the Department of Government Empowerment. So on Saturday, we did host our first youth conference. We had about 55 youth show up for the day. So it was a good event. I worked the whole event. I was there. We partnered with the Youth Development Council and the City Clerk's Office, and they had workshops for the youth. And it was mostly about civic engagement, how to get involved with the city, and how to join your neighborhood council as well. Our next event, so we're gonna have a women's leadership event on March 28th. I will email the links so you can sign up for it, and it's gonna be at City Hall. And we also started partnering with the Congress of Neighborhoods, with the leadership team from them. They did have their first meeting about 2 weeks ago, and they're gonna have a planning committee on this Saturday. It's be at 1:30 p.m., I believe. They're gonna talk about, who wants, what kind of workshops they're gonna have, and they're gonna start, setting up the planning committees, and you can join. And that's it for me.
Thank you very much.
Alfonso, how soon are you updating the, sorry, Paul, can I?
Yeah.
The training, and I noticed that the document came out, the Dunn report, the neighborhood report, and I noticed that some of our people have not been updated in that. How often is that updated?
So it's usually updated every Friday and Monday. So that's just to give people you're talking about the Cornerstone, right?
Yes.
And the Empire LA website. So yeah, we update that every Friday and Monday morning.
Okay.
And that's because we know that most of the volunteers, they do the training over the weekend or during the week.
Okay.
So that's when that happens.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, moving on to me, President's Report. I emailed all of you and thank you, Hunter, for your suggestions. That I would like for us to have a project, the council, the governing board, that we work on that would benefit the community. And some of the ideas we've had that Hunter submitted, Community Cleanup Day, a mini Talking with Your Neighbor Day. And I started thinking, what's my own idea? And I had one, but I don't remember it. This is no rush on it, but it is something that I really would like for us to do. So be thinking of something that we could do for the community as a governing board that will let the community know who we are, that we're here, and it just will be good for everyone, I think. Yes.
So Hunter had also the idea, which wouldn't work exactly, of speed dating.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Okay, wait, no, but, this is Laura speaking, but I actually put it out to Mr. Internet. I put it, on a Google search, any speed dating for nonprofits. And there's actually a thing where, you can do an event where the nonprofits and would-be volunteers speed date. So it's not a date, but it's it's not something we could just do overnight. It'd be an event, we'd have to get it approved by the city, but it might be an interesting thing of bringing stakeholders who want to know more about our nonprofits and the nonprofits who want more volunteers.
That's great idea.
So thank you, it was a trigger.
Okay, let's see, so we have 17 here, but we don't have enough.
Who are fully trained.
They're fully trained, because the next item for me was the SB 411. We still need to decide if we're gonna meet Zoom only or continue with in-person hybrid format.
Okay, Teresa's asking, who
This is
isn't
something
fully
we have to
trained?
vote on.
Yes, I know, I'm asking who is not trained, what is the situation with the training, Laura?
Okay, I can pull it up, we're gonna digress, but I can pull
I'd
it up.
like to know right now, we have, how many people? We have 20 people on the board, we have 17
Here,
present right now, and because people have not taken their training, we cannot vote on very important items. And it's important that the training gets done. Don't want to call you out, Cheryl, but you have two things that you haven't caught. That's Marco, you're behind on yours. We have certain things.
Betty still needs to do
Oh,
one.
Miss Anderson?
I finished mine.
Okay.
Okay. Did you do that?
Funding?
Yeah, I did mine too, but I guess it didn't register on the
Yeah,
system.
yours
or
didn't
something.
register,
Yeah.
they're saying
Here,
it's
here.
now.
Yeah, I did.
Right.
So
So,
I'll do it again.
okay,
I'll make
I
sure.
made copies of them for her, that she did do them, and I made sure.
Okay,
she did.
because the record is still showing that funding is not
Yeah.
complete.
What is happening is the.
so I'm just saying, if everybody could please get up to date on your training, so.
Yes, ma'am.
so that we're not stifled.
Yeah, because I can't get my tree committee until we get 16 people to vote on it.
Right.
So, it's all about me, everybody.
Okay, but even more importantly, is SB 411, we need to determine how we want to be.
Right.
And
Is
we need to
Alfonso
be able
still
to
here?
make decisions.
Yes.
Because we're getting conflicting information as well.
Alfonso,
Can you come back? So I feel like The most current information we have received from Dunn is that we could vote to adopt, assuming we could vote, adopt AB 411 and meet in a hybrid manner so long as no more than 12, no more than, not no less than, no more than 12 of us came to this room. And then others could be on Zoom. Is that accurate? Is that gonna stick?
So it's not.
Is that gonna stick? That's the question.
So the city attorney didn't, consider that hybrid
Mm-hmm.
because you wouldn't have quorum, right? So let's say like if you had a meeting tonight and you didn't have quorum, someone could technically Zoom in and they'll count towards quorum.
Right.
So
Right,
that-
but we're trying to do it, some of us would like to still meet in person, others would like to meet by Zoom.
So that.
Basically, so we can't, it's really difficult, and I'm talking about for governing board.
Yeah.
And again, we still can't vote tonight, but if we vote to adopt this resolution, are we able to still have meetings in this room so long as we need to do better with our advance, who's coming, polls, so long as no more than 12 people are here to allow people on our board to participate on Zoom and vote and be considered present?
Yeah. So SB4, what the update was from the city attorney, I think this happened the day after we
Right,
met with
right.
you. They provided guidance where if, the way to do it was if you had an agenda with the Zoom link and you met in person and only 12 board members showed up and you didn't have quorum, then you would technically be able to ask another board member to join via Zoom and they would count towards quorum. And this is the guidance from SB 411, not the previous one, the AB 2449. So that's the biggest difference since we met.
Right.
So.
But do you think this advice will stick?
Yeah.
Because since it's changing, it seems every few weeks.
No, so this advice, they said it was gonna stick. We provided already guidance documents, FAQs for you,
Right, yeah.
and that came from the city attorney, so it's all written.
So we understand that we can adopt this other language and then delegate to the executive committee month to month to month, because we set the agendas anyway, as to if we're 100% Zoom or 100% or in person with Zoom. We understand that.
Okay.
Because that's, right, I mean, isn't that the choice?
Yeah.
But since we have a break in our ranks as to who wants to be in person versus who wants to be on Zoom, we could technically be both by adopting AB 411. That we declare the meeting in person, but we
So I understand.
told people.
So what you're trying to say is that SB 411, when you approve SB 411, it doesn't mean that you're gonna meet virtually every single meeting. Or you have to, the only requirement from SB 411 is that you meet in person once a year.
Oh.
But that doesn't mean that you can't meet more times, right? So you could technically meet 12 times in person and still, like, say, like, you have like a special meeting, you can have that one virtually. It gives you that option. Go ahead.
Thanks. So let me, just to make sure I understand. So we could adopt it, and we could continue to have meetings the way we're doing it now. 3 people show up, and everybody else shows up on Zoom, and we could get quorum that way, and we can continue with the meeting.
Yeah, exactly.
As long as we have one person in a ADA compliant facility.
Public facility.
Public facility.
But we wouldn't want to leave that one person all by
Okay,
themselves.
yeah, so that's
two.
That's my point.
No, but you can
The point
discuss
is-
this later on, right?
Yeah.
So right now, all you're approving is SB 411 and the guidance it gives you with the option of meeting virtually.
Okay, and then, again, we have training issues. Are we able, will anybody besides ourselves be looking at that if we voted?
So the guidance that we received is, we're not gonna follow your bylaws, right? What we're gonna follow is what the 2/3 is, right? And I think
Well,
we-
16 people.
Yeah, it would be 16 people. So 16 people need to approve it, and that has to be shown on the VAC. And that's the only thing we're looking at. If that's clear?
Yes.
Next question?
We should vote.
So we.
Because that's the first time we've had
Question.
16 people.
Question, Michael Kimbrough. So as I'm understanding this, not only do we have to have 16 people to vote, but all 16 people need to vote unanimously.
Yeah, so
Well-
you need 16 people to say yes, in order for, it's 2/3 of the entire board,
Right.
and that includes vacant seats as well. That's the guidance again from the city attorney.
But the yes is to adopt a resolution and community impact statement that, I mean, we have it written,
You can-
yes is to this.
You can make an amendment to it and say that you're gonna adopt SB 411.
No, we have motion to file a community impact statement for Council File 23-1114 and a board resolution to authorize meetings in accordance with the rules established by SB 411 and the subsequent motion passed by the City Council on November 1, 2023. UNC's executive committee is delegated to select either in-person or teleconferencing Zoom for individual governing board meetings. Committee chairs, in consultation with the executive committee, may also select to utilize in-person or teleconferencing. The special teleconferencing rules available to neighborhoods, Los Angeles neighborhood councils are necessary because they may provide for increased accessibility and increased community engagement, as well as the health and safety of the participants. This resolution shall be filed as a CIS to notify all Los Angeles City Council members and copies sent to Dunn and the Board of Neighborhood Commissioners. And if that would be the motion, then we've adopted it, and we can still then figure out from meeting to meeting, are we gonna be 100% Zoom, or are we gonna meet here or anywhere else? I
We
mean,
can discuss that in the future, you know, this is what we've done today.
we just need to adopt.
You just need to adopt it, and that means that if like COVID cases keep on raising, you never know, right? It's just, it's a
Right.
safe part for you. Or if you have like a special meeting or an emergency meeting, where you have to like, pass MERs, then funding would accept your votes. Yeah, go ahead.
So it has to be 16
Yes, it's-
eligible voting members?
Well,
No, so for our department, what we say is eligible is, if you haven't completed your funding, then you can't vote on funding items. But this isn't funding item.
is there anybody
So
here?
we can vote tonight because we got 17 people here.
That would be my recommendation for you. to
Yeah, let's
vote.
vote. Let's do it.
I'm not voting on that.
Yeah.
I'd like to make an amendment to that. That
Okay.
is way, first of all, that has too much, to have the executive committee. Forth, Laura, quick
Okay,
forth.
so what is your,
Can I say something?
Sure.
So for the CIS, you're supposed to,
what is your-
file.
None at a time, please.
So you're supposed to you're supposed to file a CIS, and that's so you can notify, the city council and done. So that's just like paperwork, it doesn't really matter what it says. As I said, in the future date, you can decide when you're gonna meet in person or virtually.
Right, and I hear you,
Yeah,
and I agree with you with the CIS, but to put in this amendment, this motion that every month, the executive committee will determine if we're gonna meet in person or not, when right now, we could just be voting yes or no on accepting SB 411 and then call it a day.
I'm going to say that this is based on a discussion with Alfonso, because in our bylaws, the executive committee sets the agenda. That's why it's delegated to set
Go ahead,
the
put the motion
agenda.
in, put it forward, Laura.
oh, go ahead, Ed.
But did he just say, well, he's not going by our bylaws?
No, for tonight's vote, no, but for this resolution, who sets the agenda? It's our executive committee, so we're giving the flexibility to sometimes have 100% Zoom and sometimes not, but the agenda has to say what you're doing. So the executive committee is the entity that sets that agenda, and that's what this says.
And so if we disagree with that, the full board cannot change it?
I'm sorry, what? If you disagree with,
The executive
okay,
committee.
so the executive,
So,
so in a given meeting, let's say June 2024, the executive committee announces a meeting that's 100% Zoom, which I don't know that we would, but let's say we did that, and you objected, is that what you're asking?
No, you said the executive committee sets the agenda.
Every
And so
month.
that agenda is what you just read, right? That motion is what you just read?
No, the executive committee every single month, 20 years of it, sets the agenda. That's our bylaw.
I know that, I was on the
Right, I know you
executive committee, remember?
She's saying,
Okay.
would they make the determination every month if it's
Yes.
gonna be Zoom or if it's gonna be in person.
Correct,
And that may alternate every single month,
correct.
depending on executive. Okay, you put
Well-
forth that motion, I'm just letting you know, I'm not gonna support
Yeah,
it.
but that's, how else would you determine it, Teresa?
I'm saying we don't make the determination now, and first of all, I think we need to have consistency. We can just say SB 411, and that's all we need to vote on today. But,
Michael Kimbrough, I don't think we've had adequate discussion to fully understand what we're doing. I don't feel comfortable because I don't understand.
Okay.
So to vote now, I'm sorry, I need to know more. I need to understand. What
Yes, and we don't wanna take.
Can I just say one more thing? Dave?
Sure.
So it's not just UNC that does this, right? Everyone that's voting on it, usually the executive board, they decide how the agenda is written. Again, like, it can change every month to month. But again, all you're adopting is SB 411 with this motion, right? So what the CIS file is the reason why you want to have SB 411 adopted. It tells you like, oh, we want to do it because we're gonna do more outreach to people, have more people join, or we can conduct special meetings and stuff like that. But it doesn't mean that you're gonna, that's up to the executive board, it is, of when you're gonna meet. But again, your bylaws say that you're supposed to meet once a month as a general board meeting, it tells you that structure.
I understand that.
Yeah.
But at the point where you've just departed, we have not had a full committee discussion on how many times each person can be in Zoom or be in person. We haven't even broken it down to that level yet. So there's no understanding on what the imposition, if you will, of what individual representatives are gonna have to succumb to.
So what you can do right now is just make an amendment stating that you'll discuss this at the next board meeting of when the agenda would be, or when it would be virtually or in person.
So the idea now is to agenda-size, if that's the word, the discussion that I'm asking for.
So you can
Is
have,
that what we're talking about doing?
you can ask the board if they want to have a conversation about that at the next meeting.
I would like to say that why don't we have a fuller discussion at executive, and anybody who wants to know more detail, come to the executive committee.
You can't do that because then,
Too many people.
it'll be too many people.
Oh, that's right,
and you'll-
that's right. Brown Act.
You'll break the Brown Act.
Right.
Okay.
So I guess we have to put it on the next meeting.
Okay, so the question is, do we adopt the resolution tonight, but add, well, because we have the ability to, we have enough people.
Laura, put forth the vote, call for the vote, and then you'll see if it passes. But you just heard,
If you've already got two people saying they won't vote for it, we won't have enough.
Candace,
I have another, kind of capping out this question. How long do we have to decide?
forever, till 2025.
Like, do we have to relay this?
Then why we're rushing?
No, you don't have to do it.
We don't have to do it
You
tonight,
don't
we didn't
have to
even
do it
see
tonight.
if we could do it.
No, I mean, this has come up
Can I
for the last 3 meetings we've had.
Technically.
Let's just say, how long do we
She
have?
said it's emotional.
The motion,
No, the motion's not exactly on the floor because it wasn't a second. The motion, I read out loud, so in effect, I
Then we
made
should
a
probably do
motion.
all of that before we even talk about building.
No, I understand,
Yeah.
but Candace's question hasn't been answered.
You'll have to, the SB 41 expires, so it'll be the, is it June 2025, I think?
So, if I'm understanding you correctly, we could vote to support SB whatever in the AB, or SB other one.
That's just SB
And
41.
then put on the agenda for our next board meeting to discuss the mechanics of it.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, you can do that. That's my recommendation.
Okay.
I would like to make an amendment to Laura's motion. Right, that we vote tonight to support SB 411. And we work out the details of how we're gonna execute that at our next governing board meeting.
But that won't suffice because the rest of this language is what's required.
So then next month we do a CIP.
No, well, then but that means we didn't really adopt it.
He just said all we have to do.
Yeah,
The CIS,
yes.
you can discuss that at the next board meeting as well.
Okay.
But if you just approve SB 411 right now, and you table the CIS portion of it, then you could adopt it.
Okay, so I
But-
second this motion.
But we have to use the language about the special teleconference.
Sarah Long Henry said there's a motion on the floor. Can Laura give a second?
I'll second it.
You're gonna second Laura's motion?
No,
Sure.
that wasn't, we decided that wasn't a motion, because nobody ever.
Nobody.
That is not.
No.
Second,
Teresa just
I
made
made
a
a motion, Michael seconded. Any more discussion? If not, let's call for the
Thank
vote.
you, Teresa, but I do have discussion. If we don't, that last whole section about the special teleconferencing rules available to LA neighborhood councils are necessary because blah, 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 then we didn't do anything at all. Because
Okay,
that's
but
what's
wait,
required.
Alfonso,
I know
wait.
I know it feels incremental, but I think that's what we need to do.
Yes.
In order to get the discussion next far.
Yes.
And take advantage of the fact we have more than
Yes.
16 people who are hopefully going to vote for this,
But we
and then
didn't.
move to next week.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we're calling for,
Call for the question, call for the question.
I just said that,
You're voting, okay, so you're voting out, right?
yes.
Jasmine. Dolores,
Yes.
Hunter,
Yes.
Candace, Laura,
No,
I'm actually not in trouble with voting on it right now.
we're, she just said we support AB 414.
which is happening.
He didn't know what we're voting. Can
I'm
you read the
sorry.
motion back?
Motion to support SB 411 or adopt, I don't know if it's support or adopt, and work out details at next governing board meeting.
That's the motion.
Show,
Yes.
Michael Soderstrom,
Yes.
Edward, I'm a yes. Paula,
Yes.
Dennis, I'm sorry. Kareem,
Yes.
Teresa,
Yes.
Michael Kimbrough,
Yes.
Diana,
Yes.
Christopher Weed,
Yes.
Betty,
Yes.
I'm sorry,
Yes.
thank you. Marco,
Yes.
thank you, Marco.
Okay, so the next thing is the treasurer's report.
We're done, right?
Yeah. We're done, deal we need.
You weren't finished, I had a question about the president's report. Was it too late?
No.
You said you were going to speak with Joy, our commissioner, about, the stuff?
Speak with Joy Atkinson.
Yeah, she's on our board commissioner, she's our representative.
Okay.
And you were gonna reach out to her regarding the issues with Chris and, the status that she's in
And
with regards
Show.
to voting and show.
Okay.
Because we're having problems
Right.
with them,
With Cornerstone.
with Cornerstone.
And I did not do that.
Okay.
I forgot who I reached out to, but it wasn't her.
Okay,
So, thank you for reminding me what I said I was gonna do. So that I can.
Candace, are you up?
For some reason, I can't.
Okay, we don't have an NER. to
I
approve.
can't get on the, city clerk's site.
That's fine, we do not have an MER to approve.
Oh, 'cause
It's too early in the month.
What do I do about my receipt for the food trucks?
We need to vote on a board member.
Yes, so, treasurer's report,
Candace, I think you need to maybe take Paula's seat. Because I don't know that you need your computer, I think.
Okay, this will be quick-ish, there's no MER for January yet, because that'll come out probably next week at some point. So the biggest thing to report is that our,
What happened? Let's just do this and move on. We have to move on.
okay, so I'm sorry. What are we doing?
Board member
Board member
reimbursement,
reimbursements.
and then we need a budget adjustment.
Okay, so for board member reimbursements, we have to reimburse Dolores, but I might have messed this up, not for you, but I might have messed this up, but I was trying to get everybody's stuff together, and I realized, and correct me if I'm wrong, we need to do a reimbursement for Dennis, because I didn't have a BAT.
But we don't have his receipts, or do we?
I do have his receipts.
Then we need to do that.
Yes, I have his receipts and I have his address, so I need addresses and receipts when I do reimbursements, because if I don't have your address, then you can't get your check. So I'll do mine. I just.
Whatever we do.
So let's do this. I move that we, approve Dennis's funds, and Dennis spent. Can't see how much Dennis spent because I can't pull it up. How much did you spend, Ms. Lewis?
195.
So I move that we approve a reimbursement for refreshments for the February meeting for Ms. Dolores, for bringing us the wonderful drink.
I said wonderful.
It's wonderful. For $195. For $195.
Okay.
We still need to vote?
Okay, can we call for this vote while he's looking up the other one?
Did you say we're doing a dentist reimbursement?
Not yet, because she's looking.
No, I understand, I want to, sorry, I need to make sure. All right.
Okay, so right now we're talking about reimbursing Dolores.
Yes.
Okay, and it's been seconded.
Yes.
Okay.
Jasmine? Yes. Dolores?
Yes.
Hunter?
Yes.
Candace?
Yes.
Laura?
Yes.
Sho?
Yes.
Michael Soderstrom?
Yes.
Edward?
Yeah.
I'm a yes. Paula?
Yes.
Kareem?
Yes.
Teresa?
Yes.
Michael Kimbrough?
Yes.
Diana?
Yes.
Christopher Weed?
Yes.
Betty?
Yes.
Betty, you did take the funding, because that's a certificate we don't have. Funding.
Marco?
Okay. That's what I just gave you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes, thank you.
Candace, you want my address or the address of the restaurant?
Your address, because they're
Okay.
gonna mail you the check.
Okay.
And then, I also move that we, do the BAC to reimburse Dennis Lesky for the amount of $187.46 for the November meeting.
And that was for refreshments.
That was for refreshments for the November meeting.
Second.
Okay, move in second. Call for the vote.
Hang on.
We're hanging.
And the amount is $187.46.
Yeah, I got the amount. Who was the second?
Dennis Lesky. Oh, you right.
Oh, thank you. I couldn't see it.
I put it on the regular. Looking.
Okay. Jasmine? Dolores?
Yes.
Hunter?
Yes.
Candace?
Yes.
Laura?
Yes.
Sho?
Yes.
Michael Soderstrom?
Yes.
Edward?
Yes.
I'm a yes. Paula?
Yes.
Kareem?
Yes.
Teresa?
Yes.
Michael Kimbrough?
Yes.
Diana? Yes. Christopher Weed?
Yes.
Betty?
Yes.
Marco?
Yes.
Motion passes, thank you.
Next item is budget adjustments for Candace. We've just received another raise for public storage. And we don't have enough money specified for public storage rent through the end of June. So we received an increase of approximately $75 to $80 a month. Starting in March. So March, April, May, June, it's 4 months. I can't do my math. I would like to make a motion to increase our budget for our public storage rental by no more than $400, which is more than we need, but no more than $400 in the administrative budget.
For the balance of this.
For the balance, yeah, we can only vote for the balance of this year.
Okay.
Second.
Can you restate exactly how much again?
No more than or up to $400.
Increase?
Increase up to $400.
$400 a month, I assume?
No,
A
no,
year?
no, no, for the, this is the increase for the rest of the year of
Thank
an
you.
existing budget. Sorry.
It's all right.
Okay,
So that would be, I'm sorry, remainder of the fiscal year, so that's through.
Through the end of
June 30th.
June.
Thank you.
so there's a motion.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry, I have to amend, because we pay the July one in June. So it's 5 months, say up to $500. I'm just not good at, it's up to $450 or something like that.
No, so you just.
What if they raise it again, up to $500?
Okay, and who
Sorry.
seconded that?
I did.
Thank you.
Oh, a lot of
So I
people.
have to agree to that amendment?
Yes, you do, sorry.
What, did you second?
Candy? I thought I did.
Well, there were 3 voices.
Okay.
Whoever Sarah heard.
Okay,
And I apologize, though I have nothing to do with it, other than I pay the darn bill.
sorry, I'm just waiting for it to load. All right, Jasmine? Go. Dolores?
Yes.
Hunter?
Yes.
Laura?
Yes.
Candace?
Yes.
Sho?
Yes.
Michael? Soderstrom? Edward?
Yeah.
I'm a yes.
Yes.
Thank you, Paula. Kareem? Yes. Teresa?
Yes.
Michael Kimbrough?
Yes.
Diana? Yes. Christopher Weed?
Yes.
Betty?
Yes.
And Marco?
Yes.
Thank you, motion passes.
I have my hand up. Candace, I don't know if everybody has seen the emails, but there are 2 MPGs that we provided funding for, but they were denied. So I just don't know where we are with that.
Well, we're working on it, Teresa, but we're also looking at the clock.
I know, but I think the board needs to know when we approve, when we give somebody $2,000, that the city's gonna say that we can't do that. If nothing else, we need to let them know that they've been rejected and that we're.
Right, well, the whole board received the email, but we're working on getting some better
Michael
explanations.
Kimbrough is not.
Okay, so I just
wasn't aware,
quick,
they may have sent it, but I.
okay, I just do a quick overview because I know we're pressure time and we got a bunch of stuff to do. So
And
basically.
we have a person waiting.
Yes.
Go ahead.
The MPG that we approved for the historic places video, for the video around West Adams, that was denied because, we're working on clarification of the, significance to the community. So that's what we're working on now. So once we get that resolved, I'll come back with a full report, but for, to save time, that's kind of what we're working on. So.
And this will be agendized at an executive.
The city's had a no spirit for a couple of things, so. So, yeah, but, we're, in any case, we're in talks with Anna to try to get her to approve what we voted for as a, so with that, I turn it back.
Thank you. Well, it's turning back to Paula, but it's really turning to Sarah.
Yes,
Next
Sarah,
item.
Secretary report.
All right, last month, we had our usual welcome call to order roll call.
Right, and I've got this, there we go.
Thank you. All right, we had the usual approval of the agenda, some public comments, government agency reports and comments. Pretty typical president's report, treasurer's report, secretary's report, vice president's report. We had a presentation last month, we had one funding request, a few committee reports. And that's about it.
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
The secretary report. I
Who's the
second.
Paula seconded.
Thank you, Paula.
Acclamation.
Yeah, that's it. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Please share.
Vice President's report.
Yeah, so did you guys want me to share the screen, or are we good, since we've already been discussing the training? What do you want?
Whatever it's passed.
Not sharing the screen. The report, 2 versions of the report on training are in the agenda packet. One is essentially, I downloaded what was on the website, and that includes the fourth column, which is the training for, oh God, remind me. Anti-bias. And several of you have not taken anti-bias, so you should catch up on that. And then I downloaded, we also have the page, it's up in the agenda packet from Dunn that arrived today, and it does not include that column for reasons I do not know. Attendance, I know you're gonna say, where is that? I will post that into the agenda packet by this weekend, even though the meeting will have passed. Most of our attendance is pretty good. Okay, so, and that would be the vice president's report. The next, oh, I'm sorry.
Funding request.
And it's Grace, and she's back.
Because now we have 16?
No, we're good, but but we're up. The next item is, a funding request from Grace's committee for $100, up to $100 to print emergency preparedness outreach flyers and or related materials, just in case we need them next week. Because, and the reason this text.
It's not next week, it's February 7th.
That is next week.
Is it?
The first 7 days.
Sorry,
And the reason is, folks, because to do an event request, which will be the rest of the series on the workshop, we now can't do it less than 30 days in advance because the new system is online and it stops you if the date is less than 30 days. So if Grace and the team need some printed materials, we need $100 just
We'll
to
just
do
set it
it.
aside.
We're probably gonna come out of outreach because we already have.
We'll be fine, but anyway. The motion, yes, the motion is to set, use up to $100 to print emergency preparedness outreach flyers and or related emergency preparedness materials.
Is there a second?
I second.
Okay, let's call for the vote.
Who was the actual motion?
Laura makes the motion.
Laura, Teresa, second. All right, Jasmine?
No, hold on.
Dolores?
Planning is in it.
Hunter?
Yes.
Candace?
Yes.
Laura?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Michael Soderstrom?
Yes.
Edward?
Yes.
I'm a yes. Paula?
Yes.
Corinne?
Yes.
Teresa?
Yes.
Michael Kimbrough?
Yes.
Diana? Up to 100 increase for the emergency, oh, yes. Oh, sorry, Grace. It's all right, no, I missed you. Christopher Weed?
Yes.
Betty?
Yes.
Thank you. Marco?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes.
Okay, I have been asked if planning and zoning, because we have our person online that's been waiting patiently, if we can move to that committee report and then go back to the bylaws. Is that okay with everyone?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, Laura.
Hi, Matthew, are you really there?
Hi, yes, I'm here.
Thank you for being so patient. This is Laura speaking. I'm going to pull up the pictures, the one that was labeled Photo Sim. If you could talk about your project, and I will, before I do that, just say to the board, this is on the agenda that you probably don't have in front of you. It's under committee reports, planning and zoning, which is A1, case number DIR 2023. 4323, TOC, CCMP, HCA, and all those letters and numbers really mean something at 3050 West Pico Boulevard. And this is a proposed 5-story mixed-use building with 28 residential units, including affordable units, and a small ground floor commercial, and 24 parking spaces. And it's within the HPOZ, so they vote on it. It's, there's some incentives requested and a request to have a waiver of the required street dedication. So in other words, waiving the requirement to widen the street. And we voted, planning and zoning voted to recommend approval of the projects, adding a recommendation that they add one more. It's a recommendation only that they, instead of having 3, have 4 affordable units. And that we also support the street dedication waiver in order to provide more landscaping and trees. So this is sort of random until Matthew speaks and I show you pictures. So go ahead, Matthew, and I'm going to pull up the photo.
Great, thank you very much, Laura. This is Matthew Hayden. I'm the land use consultant for the proposed project at 3050 Pico Boulevard. And I'll try to keep this brief because I know you have a busy meeting. You gave a good overview of what's being proposed. Essentially, it's a new 5-story mixed use.
Speak a little bit louder.
Matthew, can you try, it's going to be hard, but can you speak up a little bit more?
Certainly. Is this better?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good. So we have a new 5-story mixed use building. And this is a redevelopment of a property, but the property is actually a vacant lot. There isn't anything there. There was a building there back in the 90s that was torn down. And this is really the first opportunity for development on the property in quite a while. So we feel it's it's an improvement to the block, and it will be, a project that will provide new housing. And because it involves a density bonus, it will also include affordable units. There will be a 10% set aside of the 28 units to have extremely low income units in the new project. We've tried to do it as consistent with all of the development regulations that are necessary. So it's compliant with the zoning, it's compliant with the HPOZ, and it's compliant with the CPIO. Those are some of the letters that were in the application. The application has been with city planning for a while. We have a third public hearing with the Historic Preservation Overlay Zone Board at the end of the month here. And to date, we've worked on the design to try to have it meet all of the requirements for the HPOZ. And the board met with us 2 times and gave us feedback. And essentially, we've sort of tried to not, make an old building, but make a building that uses, materials and construction that is sort of in keeping with the existing buildings on the block. That's really what the HPOZ was looking at. The main difference, of course, is that this is a new building and it's built to the current zoning, so it's a taller building. But the first 2 floors are meant to be very similar to the existing buildings on the block. And then you have the upper portion that continues up to provide all of the units in it. Other than that, we're here and looking forward to your recommendation. We reviewed the project with the committee, and I'm available for any questions. Thank you.
Teresa's hand is raised.
This is Teresa Masonet. Laura, is there a rear view of this
No.
structure? And can you talk about the ingress and egress? Because I remember during the planning, there was something about the back.
Let me,
Maybe you could talk about it, Matthew?
yeah, I'm going to see if I can find another.
I can mention the ingress and egress, of course. When you're looking at the building face on, there is a driveway on the left side of the building. So there will be a driveway there into the parking area. In terms of the rear of the building, it's set back from the property line at an angle, basically. The TOC program requires a sort of a setback on the rear of the building. There you go. You can see it at the bottom right.
So the bottom right-hand side.
Is that an alley?
No.
It's not. So there's about a 25-foot setback at the back portion of the building. And then, as you go up, each building level sort of gets set back a little bit further.
And Laura, was there a landscape plan?
There was, because we looked at it. Matthew, was there an actual landscape plan or was there just a tree report?
A bit of both,
I didn't-
but the landscaping is mostly in the courtyards around the second residential level. So you may, I'm not sure if you.
I'm trying to remember. Yeah, I mean, I had to break this into two pieces.
And then I have another
Yeah,
question.
here we go, Teresa.
Yeah.
It's not very much of a landscape plan.
Are they asking for, no, okay. Yeah. And then Matthew, I want to go back to this ingress and egress. Are there any safety concerns about pedestrians when they're walking by? I mean, are there going to be mirrors so people can see if they're pedestrians? I don't know.
Yes, there will be mirrors and there will be a 20-foot reservoir to give cars the ability to queue as they come in and out of the building so that they, can safely access the property.
And Laura, is that a standard? I mean, how did the planning and zoning feel?
Yeah, I mean, were you at the committee meeting? I mean, Jasmine was at the meeting. I thought you were there because you talked about trees.
Yes.
Of course.
Yeah, but I don't remember the ingress.
And you also took photos, which I did not bring.
Yes.
Okay, so.
So what is it that we're being asked to do tonight?
The Planning and Zoning Committee is asking that you vote to approve the project with our added recommendations that the applicant consider adding one more affordable unit, so making it 4 instead of 3. 3 is 10%, so 4 would be 14, 15%, something like that. But that's only, that's not the law. The law says 10%.
Okay.
And that we do support the request for the street dedication waiver. And that would be to make sure that there's actually enough room to plant maybe 1, or maybe if we're lucky 2, street trees. It's a really narrow sidewalk and it's a really narrow lot. So we'd be lucky to get a single street tree out of this one.
Okay.
One question.
Yes.
I may have missed the committee meeting, but is the ground floor for parking behind the commercial? Or is it semi-subterranean or is it subterranean?
Matthew, is it semi-subterranean parking or is it simply behind the front commercial?
It's interestingly a combination of both. So it's behind the commercial and it's a very difficult property to provide parking. It doesn't technically have to have any parking because of AB 2097, but we are including parking because we think we're not quite there yet for 0. And so when I say semi-subterranean, it actually has an auto parking system that has mechanical lifts that partially go underground to fit as many cars as possible.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
One more
We
question.
have one more question?
This is Cheryl speaking. I understand your, with regard to adding another rental space for low income. My issue is when, I know that's the law, but there's a lot of buildings that don't have that, right? Even though that's the law. So how do we enforce that? One, are there designated units to say, okay, unit number 1, 5, and 10? Because when they move out, they're just gonna turn them into regular apartments again, unless this is regulated and really kind of policed in a way.
Matthew, are you guys in conversation yet with the housing department on this?
We aren't, but this is a great question. And it's a concern that a lot of people have had, and the housing department has worked to really improve this system. So to answer your question, what will happen is a covenant will be recorded on the property that will require these units to be low income for 55 years. And all of the people that live in those units will be screened by the housing department to make sure that they actually are qualified to be in the unit, so they're not, mismanaged. And they've got a partnership with a private company that helps supervise these things now. They have lists that people, can try to get on because they're in demand, with the housing costs and things the way that they are. So it's a good question, and the enforcement has become much better. And the housing department will ultimately pick which units will be affordable. And to summarize how that works, they try to distribute them throughout the building so that there's not just, the ones at the back on the bottom corner. They might be one on each floor. There might be one in the front, one in the back, one on the side. And they try to evenly disperse them in the building.
Thank you, Matthew. And I have one question. Initially, you have planned, or your group has planned for 3 affordable units, and we're asking for a 4th for 1 more. And are you agreeing to this?
Well, he's the rep.
We talked
Or
about
are
that
they
after
agreeing to this?
We talked about that after the last meeting, and unfortunately, the way that this project works, they can't really incorporate another one. This is the 10% set aside that's needed for the city program to do this, and they are able to meet that requirement, but it wasn't possible to put in an extra one.
Thank you for your honesty.
And it was impossible?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, it's possible, but I'm. It's very.
There's nothing that prevents us from making the recommendation.
Right.
My question was if it was going to be an extra unit, would it be voluntary covenant? The covenant that is voluntarily for the extra unit of the housing, because there's a disconnect there. Does he have a breakdown of the units?
I'm sure he does, but I have to look, yeah. So,
So the question is, do we approve this? Laura, what is precisely the motion?
well, the motion from planning and zoning, thus again, Laura makes it because John is not on the board anymore. So Laura moves that UNC approve the project with an added recommendation that the applicant consider adding 1 additional affordable ELI or VLI unit, and that UNC does support the proposed street dedication waiver to provide more landscaping and potentially trees. So that's the motion.
Okay.
I would second that.
All right, there's a second. We're gonna call for the vote.
Can we clarify street dedication waiver?
The city has an old grid that shows certain streets have to be this wide or that wide.
Okay.
But in our neighborhood, in our community, because it's so old, that there's not the likelihood that the whole block will come down.
Okay.
So a street dedication would make you go in and then come back out.
Okay.
And takes away space to plant trees, or in some cases,
okay.
different projects would actually remove street trees because to do the dedication, you would take out the trees. So keep the street straight.
Okay.
And to allow for the planting potentially of a street tree and certainly of more landscaping.
Okay. Thank you for that.
Okay. We're ready?
Jasmine? No. Dolores? Hunter?
No.
Laura?
Yes.
Show?
Nah, bruh.
Michael Soderstrom?
Yes.
Edward? I'm sorry?
Yes.
I am. I don't know. Let me come back to you. Paula?
Yes.
Grace?
Yes.
Corinne?
Abstain.
Teresa?
Yes.
Michael Kimbrough? Diana?
Yes.
Christopher Weed?
Yes.
Betty?
Yes.
She said yes.
Thank you, sorry. Marco?
Okay.
I'm sorry?
I can't vote.
Okay, thank you. I'm gonna abstain because I really don't know. Thank you. Motion passes.
Okay, and then there is 2, Laura, under planning and zoning?
If that's okay. Matthew, the motion passed. I will say not unanimously, but the motion passed. Thank you very much for your time.
Yes, thank you for your time, Matthew.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, and then, okay, so the next item, it's a follow-up to a case that we looked at last summer. Wasn't really a case. We approved a letter, I want to say in June, could have been July, about 1614 South Gramercy Place. So at the time, this was an ED1 application that we were notified of. However, we were not provided the plans. It was to put something like 30-some units on a parcel that has a 1908 single-family home and would allow by right 5 units. So it was like, what is this program? What is the, and we approved a letter, sent it off, saying that the character residential overlay zone is an HPOZ light. We were told that our historical properties are protected, and this is not a good thing. I mean, so the letter is in the packet, I can put it back up, but you probably don't need to reread it or read it new if you want.
And so what is?
But now what happened is that there's an application that was mailed to us from Building and Safety for a demolition of this same house. So I think we need to take an immediate vote to oppose the demolition of this 1908 single-family house that's a contributor in the Angeles Vista Character Residential Overlay District, and resend the letter that we had already sent, but add a separate motion about opposing the demolition of that same building.
Any discussion?
What was the address again?
1614 Rose Gale's house.
1614
Gramercy, right down the street. So it has a cultural component, but that's probably not so relevant in this.
I'm only asking that because I think I'm in the 500, so I'm not allowed.
No, you're not in the 500, neither am I. It's by Venice.
Okay.
Okay, so there's a motion, is there a second?
Second.
All right, and this is to not demolish 1614 Gramercy Place.
To oppose. Well, we need to send a letter to Building and Safety, to the council
I
office.
understand, I'm saying for the motion, do we need to say, send a letter or motion to oppose?
Just a motion to oppose
Okay.
and communicate it in any way we wish.
Okay, so it's been moved and seconded?
Yes.
Yes, okay, so we can call for a vote.
Is that historic? The show,
Yes.
is that historic?
Any discussion before we vote?
I just asked if it was historic, this is show King, and they said yes.
Yeah.
Jasmine?
It appears.
Dolores?
Yes.
Hunter?
Abstain.
Candace?
Yes.
Laura?
Yes.
Show?
I gotta stand.
Michael?
Yes.
Edward?
Yeah.
I'm a yes. Paula?
Yes.
Grace?
Yes.
Kareem?
No, she's.
I'm sorry.
Abstain.
Okay. Teresa?
Yes.
Michael? Kimbrough?
Yes.
Diana? Christopher Weed?
Abstain.
Betty?
Yes.
Thank you. Marco? Sorry, thank you. Motion passes.
Thank you. Public safety, did we talk about that? No.
No, we skipped over bylaws
Oh,
and we
that's
probably
right, we
should.
went there. Okay,
Right.
so we haven't talked about bylaws?
We have not,
Okay, proposed possible adjustments to UNNC bylaws.
right.
Who is leading that discussion?
Teresa?
Teresa?
I'm on the committee, but we haven't met, so we don't have anything to report. We know that we're gonna meet soon, and we're gonna bring it back to the board from.
Okay,
Right.
wonderful. We're
Okay,
going to
wait.
obey this.
Yeah, we're going, so here's the schedule, you guys, unfortunately.
Oh, wait, we're just gonna obey this and talk about it next time.
No, we can't quite. We need to tell everybody what we're doing. Otherwise, we're not gonna make it we will have 2 years, plenty of time.
I understand, but it's 8:46.
I understand. The problem is we're probably gonna end up having a special meeting that'll be like 20 minutes long and right before April, unless Dunn gives us till April 5th instead of till April 1st to turn in our bylaws changes. So technically what we need to do is during a public comment period, which we're in, anybody, an officer, 3 board members, anybody can make a proposal to amend our bylaws. And then it has to be formalized in writing, going to the executive committee, then back to the board, that would be March. We get to talk about it then, and then it has to be reconsidered at a duly noticed governing board meeting, not necessarily a regular meeting.
But maybe we
for the
can do that
final
on
approval.
Zoom. We might be able to do that.
We
on
might be
Zoom.
able to do it on Zoom, but I'm just saying our choices look like we're either gonna end up with a special meeting in March, brief but special after the board meeting, or Dunn is gonna be real nice and let us, because we won't meet on April 1st, have a couple of extra days. So I'm just giving you guys a heads up that they may not want to be real nice, because then 98 other neighborhood councils are going to ask for the same thing. Okay.
So is this the motion to put it on the March agenda? Is that what we're doing?
I think so.
No, we're keeping it motion. It's
There's
just
no
to let you
motion.
know that there is a process. And then
Yes.
once we talk about it, we're gonna come, the committee's gonna come back to you with some amendments.
Yes.
And once you guys vote on that, we have to bring it back for reconsideration.
Right.
Now, that vote, does it have to be 16?
No. I don't think so. Wait.
Moving on.
Well, maybe, wait a minute, wait. No, it has to be 2/3 of the board, however, not including vacant seats that aren't currently held by anybody. So it'll be a slightly smaller number.
Thank you. Okay, so now, did I get the answer? Did the certain neighborhood teen
No, that
program?
has to happen.
Okay, that's
Grace?
where we are now?
You're up.
Yes, so Ken, can't pronounce the last name, and Patrick Forbes is gonna lead our CERT training, CERT Light, it's not really CERT training. It is the neighborhood themed project, and they're gonna help us be better prepared for an emergency, whether it's an earthquake that we had on January 1st. And remember all those wonderful hand crank radios, flashlight that we jumped through hoops to get? We wanna give this to the neighbors, but you gotta come to at least 3.
So
of our
you need,
meetings.
okay.
There's 6. It's the first Wednesday of each month except for July, when it's the second because of 4th of July. So it's the first Wednesday in February is the 7th. And then it's March 6th here. The location is right here in this community room. And we're looking forward to having you. Okay, so the first one is February 7th. The second one is March 6th, right here where we're sitting at 6:30 in the evening. Okay, so yes, ma'am.
Do you have a JPEG flyer you can send me to put it on our Facebook?
I wish I did. No, ma'am, I don't. We were working on it, but I don't have one.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we're going on now, we're at Teresa.
Oh, yes, thank you. So I would like to establish, I think at one time, when we look on our website, that we did have a tree committee. So I would like to reactivate the tree committee. It would only meet quarterly, and it's probably not gonna deal with some of these outstanding tree problem issues that we have right now. 2 years ago, we had funding for 6,900 for Washington. Chris Carlson asked the board last year for some money for tree planting on Western. I don't know if I want to deal with those things. I want to be forward thinking, but it would just be a quarterly meeting to update and maybe come up with some ideas about how we can grow and preserve our tree canopy and the UNC footprint. So I'm asking the board to reestablish this committee. It takes 16 members. So I'd like to make that chairperson. Oh, yes, but I'm open if somebody else, I'd like to participate, but if somebody else is as enthusiastic as I am with trees.
Yeah, okay. So if we have motion to reactivate and make Teresa the chair?
Yeah.
Did you move that or you want somebody to move it?
I move that we.
I'll second.
Okay.
Will this also govern shrubbery or only trees?
I'm gonna stay away from landscape.
All vegetation? No.
Guys, Just by way of background, Teresa has been our tree liaison for 2 years, 2.5. I mean, before she joined the board.
Okay.
Because she has the expertise, and she has so much expertise that, or passion, or craziness, that she's subsequently helped form a nonprofit, South LA Trees. She's also been appointed, are you the alternative or the real for the?
I'm the alternate for the community, Heather Hutt appointed me to the city, Community Forest Advisory Committee.
Right, so she's definitely our tree liaison.
No one else could be the chair.
But I'm not done. However, she's been working through the planning committee, at the same time, our environmental committee, which had actually incorporated that old long ago tree committee, has also had some tree projects, and then we had the funding thing. So we have some outstanding things, and I guess we'll still have to figure out how to overlap it, because the environmental committee consists of real people who are passionate about trees as well. But maybe they'll just go to both meetings. So, yeah, so we'll work it out.
Thank you.
Don't be trying to take away her joy.
Okay, so it's been moved and seconded, and we're calling for the vote.
Yes, Jasmine? Yes. Dolores?
Yes.
Hunter?
Yes.
Candace?
Yeah.
Laura?
Yes.
Sho?
Yes, yes.
Michael Soderstrom?
Yes.
Edward? I'm a yes. Paula?
Yes.
Grace?
Yes.
Corrine?
Yes.
Teresa?
Yes.
Michael Kimbrell? Diana?
Yes.
Christopher Weed?
Yes.
Betty?
Yes.
And Marco?
Yes.
All right, motion passes.
Yes. Other committee reports.
Speak up, girl, close mouth. I'll never
Well,
forget.
okay, how many of us, a lot, did do the homeless count?
Yeah.
Lots of us participated in one way or another. Yay.
Yeah.
We have
Six volunteers.
shows here.
Yes, she's next. Yeah. Okay, we're moving on to the January presentation, proposed adult wellness initiative, and our leader for discussion is Joe.
Resident initiative.
And I'm looking for, I'm gonna pull up,
It's the same one as last,
I know, I have it.
I'm giving you 6 minutes.
Okay, you got it.
It's 8:54.
6 minutes, Dougie Fresh, I'm on.
That's right.
Really quickly, start with a trivia question. This is Show King, Hope for Hip Hop. Who is hip hop's king? I'll give y'all 30 seconds.
Right there.
Who is hip hop's king? It's only
From the
one answer,
beginning?
so.
Debatable.
Dr. Dre.
DMC, because they had King of.
DMC? Okay, that's a good guess. Anybody else?
I said Dr. Dre.
Snoopy Dogg.
Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre.
Okay, you're using for 6 minutes.
Okay, well, the hip hop's king is Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. because he called it forth, and I'm gonna explain why.
Okay.
Why is it so significant? When he did his I Have a Dream speech, he was not only talking to the people there, he was talking to the future.
Yes.
And if you know he was slain in '68, hip hop started in '73. So his children, among the others, you know the saying, I have a dream that my 4 little children will not be judged by the but by the content of their bars. You got that right. Bars on bars on bars. Why is that important? Because hip hop was created for peace, love, unity, and fun. So when we get back to the original message, this is what we had. So with this adult wellness initiative, we're restoring the fun and activity to people. You ever wonder as an adult, like, you ever want to go play, like just play and have fun and just be like carefree, right? Like, why do we have to lose that? Because we had some birthdays. So with the Adult Wellness Initiative, it's not only focused on physical activity and movement, but also the mental wellness of the whole person. So as we spoke of last time, I wanted to just kind of get some feedback on what that looks like to you. What does lifelong wellness look like to you? As we place this whole thing together and continue building it, because it's a community initiative, not just me. I always say we, not I, it's we. So any thoughts on what that looks like for you? What does adult wellness look like for you?
Can we have time to think about that and maybe email you or get back to you on that?
Okay.
I was gonna say, here's what adult wellness does not look like. My belly. Right? No, I mean, being in more shape. Is what regular.
And so how do we get to that point? That's why I said restoring the fun and activity.
Okay.
Because when you're having fun, it doesn't feel like you're doing it. You ever have fun and you're like, whoo, I'm sweating and I'm dancing or I'm skating.
Line dancing.
Whatever that we're doing, right?
Skating, jump roping.
Right? So when you're having fun, it don't feel like,
Yeah.
you're working. I don't like the gym. I'm an athlete who does not like the gym. I admit it. I don't like the gym because it's boring. It's not fun. I'm like, why am I running 5 miles? Am I saving the weight? What am I doing? Right? So the initiative really is built around what we see today as a wellness plan for our own lives. And when we look at lifelong wellness, that really is the aim. Also wanted to think about what the funding sources could be or would be. Any thoughts on that, or any thoughts on what that would look like to fund something like that? I got some of my own, but it's not just about me. So maybe that's something, as you say, we can email or something of that nature, but this is what we're building, y'all. We're building something great, something awesome. Yes, ma'am.
Is there a website where we can?
There's not yet, but that's what we're building to. I can't just be me. I'm not a one-woman show, so.
Yeah, you can. Okay.
Someone have another question?
I didn't know that it was added to the Summer Olympics.
Yes, breaking dancing is the newest sport added to the Olympics of 2028.
Wow.
Officially. Hip-hop, we've been global, we just now letting everybody know that we're that global.
Wow.
Hey, I know we are short on time. I didn't get 6 minutes, but it's okay, I'm with y'all. I ain't gonna hold you.
Okay, think of your ideas on what does adult wellness look like
Yeah.
and what we might need for the funding of it, and get that information to show.
Yes, ma'am.
Discuss.
Shanae?
Sorry, Jasmine, I just want you to throw out an email address or something that folks can send.
Yes. Oh, sure, that would be Hope, the number 4, hip hop edu.
Wait, say it again?
Hope, HOPE. Yes, ma'am.
Back up.
The number 4, hip hop edu, like college education, and that's at gmail.com.
Is it hope4hiphop.edu or just, there's no
No,
dot?
hope4hiphop.edu at gmail.
Tell me what page it would be on.
It's on there somewhere.
Okay, we got it.
I'm
Any
sorry.
old business that we have to
No,
discuss?
There we go. Got it. Can you guys all see
There it
it?
is.
There it is.
Do we have any old business? Oh, and there's a phone number there too.
And there is a number, 510-988-3828.
I'm sorry, did you say it's EDU?
Yeah, I upgraded it, I updated it for Instagram and all that.
Wait a minute,
stuff.
Hope for Hip Hop ED or EDU?
It's both, but for going forward, it's EDU. So I'm not gonna miss that email, it'll still get there, but I upgraded it for Instagram, social media, to
Yes.
build a grander presence.
Okay. Any old business? Okay, I make the motion that we adjourn. All right. The meeting is closed at 9 p.m. Exactly. Thank you all, thank you all, thank you all.
Hello. We got to go plates back here. You want to say something to make
Oh, yeah. I wonder, but guess what is this?
It's the remnants.
Should I bother?
What?
Yes, and then in April. Well, yeah, it is. There we go.
I was so